but we'll make a start. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our first Women in Business webinar this morning in partnership with Natwest. My name's Sam and I'm the Events Officer for the Growth Hub at Semlet. And I'm just going to quickly run through some housekeeping before I hand over. So we are recording the session and it will be sent out to you all. So if you miss any of it or want to catch up, then you can. That'll be sent out probably tomorrow via email. And if you've got any questions during the session, you won't be able to speak, unfortunately. You can only see and hear us. So if you've got any questions, please use the chat box to put those in there, and we'll get to those during the session. And if there's any at the end, then we'll come to those. I have put a few things in there already, so it should be flashing at you that you can see it. So anything that you want to ask or say, then pop it in there. It's going to be quite an informal session, lots of chat and conversation, discussion between the panelists. So I shall hand over to Nicola and Ruth.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name's Nicola D'Amelio and I'm the Local Business Growth Enabler for Natwest. And I'm pleased to be running this event this morning with Semlet. Just to give a bit of background as to how the event has come about. Back in 2018, Alison Rose, who's the CEO of Natwest and the first female leader of a high street bank, was tasked by the government to undergo a review of female entrepreneurship. And one of the outcomes of the review, it has been that we've been working closer with the LEPs to provide additional support through a programme called Expert in Residence, which is designed to support female entrepreneurs in the local area. The Rose Review found 5 key barriers that led to lower rates of entrepreneurship amongst women. And those were lower access and awareness of capital, greater risk awareness. Number 3 was perceived missing skills and experience amongst the female population, disproportionate primary care responsibilities, and lack of relatable role models or sponsorship and mentorship being available. Today we're looking to discuss the impact that COVID-19 has had on female entrepreneurs specifically, and business and women in business, and reflect on the outcomes of the Rose Review. So going over some of those topics and seeing how they've related recently. I'm going to hand you over to Ruth now to introduce herself and the work that's been undertaken by the Growth Hub, and then we'll go over to introduce our lovely panellists. So thank you for joining us this morning. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Nicola. My name is Ruth Cousins and I head the team of business advisors at Semlet's Growth Hub. Semlet, being the South East Midlands Local Enterprise Partnership, is here basically to help the economic growth in the region, which is the whole of Bedfordshire, including Luton, Milton Keynes and Northamptonshire. The Growth Hub itself is here to help support businesses. So we support predominantly SMEs, if you've got up to about €50 million turnover and under 250 employees. We can help you through one-to-one business advice. We run events such as this. We have programs, we have access to funding. So we are here to help any business through its growth, through its challenges, through its opportunities, for the hope that we will help a sustainable economy within the region. So that's basically a bit about us. I'm going to hand you back to Nicola to introduce the names of the panel that we have today and to get them to introduce a little bit about themselves.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. So first of all, I'm going to hand over to Aruna Rayo. Aruna is the founder of the Busy Women Networking Group. Aruna, could I get you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yes, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Aruna Rao and I'm the founder of Busy Women Networking. So I run networking groups for ladies in business in over 8 regions, and we have 15 groups in the company at the moment, 2 which we launched actually in lockdown. So during the pandemic, I've seen many of our members think about different ways to pivot their businesses, and I've also seen new businesses launched in lockdown. So Busy Women have been really lucky. We've been able to move all our businesses online. So thanks for having me today.
Thank you, Aruna. And can I hand over now to McKenna Loftus? McKenna is the founder of Chaos Hair.
Hi, so I am a hairdresser from Northampton with over 10 years experience. I worked in the salon for 7 years and then I decided to fly solo, try freelance, done a lot of session styling, so photo shoots, got to work with some amazing brands like ITV, Misguided and Pretty Little Thing. Done that for 5 years, and then I decided to open up my own salon, first blow dry bar in Northampton, and we completed the morning of lockdown, unfortunately, so I've only been able to trade for 2 weeks, but I'm excited because we are opening up tomorrow. So yeah, it's all really, really exciting.
Oh, thank you. It's really exciting news, McKenna. Philomena, we've got Philomena Watton, who's the Director of Watton Recruitment. Philomena, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Good morning, ladies. As said, Philomena from Watton Recruitment. We're an award-winning recruitment agency, trading for 6.5 years now, based in Bedford. And what we do is really cover everything from temp to perm and industrial and commercial recruitment. So really office cleaners, office managers, but mainly at the moment during COVID is industrial side of things. So we're really busy, and thank you for having us, or me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Can I hand over now to Shalom Lloyd? Shalom's the founder of Naturally Tribal Skincare. Shalom, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yes, thank you very much for having me, and it's great to be here with such amazing women. My name is Shalom Lloyd. I run 2 businesses in our region, Naturally Tribal Skincare, which is a natural skincare company that started because my son had eczema and I looked for the right formulation to manage his eczema. So today we import ingredients from Africa, formulate, manufacture and test here in the UK, and empower African women in the process. I also run a business called Emerging Market Quality Trials, where we're trying to be the bridge between pharmaceutical industry and patients in Africa. So happy to be here.
Oh, thank you, Shalom. That's fantastic. It's great to hear from you. So if we could start by going round and just talking in a little bit more detail around how each of you have had to change and pivot. So I know, first of all, Aruna, you discussed having to move your business online and completely change in that way. How did you find that, and what were the challenges there?
Well, when it first happened, it was really nerve-wracking, and I think having the business for 8 years and building that up, the last thing I wanted to do was lose it all, really. So yeah, we went on to Zoom. I mean, Zoom has really been our friend, and we moved all of our meetings on Zoom. And I was worried. I was really worried that, you know, the ladies wouldn't want to join the Zoom calls. They were all either homeschooling, or they had pets, or, you know, it was they had other distractions, and they were still trying to run their businesses as well. But it went really, really well. And I was just saying to Philomena earlier, I think ladies actually found it as a bit of a crutch, really, that little break, 2 hours every month, you know, speaking to ladies, like-minded ladies, all trying and juggle everything that we were all going through at the time. So touch wood, actually, this has probably been my busiest year. And I've never worked so hard. So it's been really positive for me. Not that I never want that ever again.
I guess having that support network was probably needed more than ever right now.
Yeah, and I didn't realise how much, actually, and it was all the feedback that we were getting, everyone saying, you know, this is what I look forward to all month, because you know, it's lonely out there. Otherwise, when you're at home, you can't go anywhere, you're trying to build your business, you're trying to run your family, your husbands are probably working from home or being made redundant or on furlough. You know, there were the different stories that I was getting from our ladies. It was actually unbelievably inspirational, to be honest.
Thank you. McKenna, could you go into a bit more detail about actually how, whether you've had to change what you were, I mean, drastically changing in terms of locking down, but what did that really mean for you, and how did it feel?
So the first lockdown, I think it was a very big risk trying to open up a business in a global pandemic anyway. The first lockdown was very scary. I think we didn't know where we were going or what was going to happen, but not to sound too dramatic, but I think kind of when you hit rock bottom a little bit, the only way, you just have to push for it. And that's what I did in the first lockdown. I thought we'd risk, me and my mum also, we'd just risk everything for the salon and put everything into it. So it was a bit like we had to make it work. And I was just grateful actually that we had that time, because it was a massive refurb, the salon. So I just had that time to put all into it and just make everything was perfect, brainstorm loads of ideas. Yeah, it was a risk, but it was, I really wanted it. Do you know what I mean? I really wanted it. And yeah, so yeah, but then the second time, obviously the lockdown, it was a bit nerve-wracking, but once again, just trying to be positive. And obviously it was inevitable that we had to shut, and we just had to put things in place to just make it COVID safe, but obviously still making sure clients have a 10 out of 10 service, but safely. So all of that as well was a bit of pressure, because obviously we're close contact. So it was just getting things in line that we could still work safely, but it was still an enjoyable experience. So it's been a journey. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow.
That's brilliant. Can I just ask, when you came into your business, you got a property in Northampton, and we came into the pandemic, what financial support was out there for you to help you through that period? Did you use the government support that was out there, and how was the finances? Because that's a long time to be shut.
It was. So we had income support. It was income support. So we had the government scheme as well, and they were able to give us a grant for if you had your business. When we first applied for it though, we were a couple of days out of the cut-off. Yeah, we were a couple of days out of the cut-off. But I think desperate measures, my mum she actually wrote to the MP, said our story, and just said, look, we're desperate. We were literally 2 days off, and he granted it for us. And so, yeah, we were able to get the 10K grant, which was amazing. And then we had the self-employed scheme. I was eligible for that as well. So it worked out, but we had about 6 weeks where there was nothing. Was your landlord lenient on your rent, or have you been paying that? Yeah, with owners, me and my mum, we brought the property with the help from Natwest.
Oh, right. So that's
yeah.
That's good to hear, the thing. And of course, you've got the support with the second lockdown, because you would have been on the rateable value. You would have had a rateable value then, wouldn't you?
Yes. We haven't had any support just yet, but I think we can do it on tomorrow. We can eligible to.
You are in Northampton, and any of the local authorities, for anybody listening, that if you do have a rateable value, so if you do have a premises, then please contact your local authority, because they all have local restriction support grants, and some discretionary grants available. So please contact your local authority if you are struggling, having had a premises through lockdown. Thanks, Nicola.
It's a really good point. Thanks, Ruth. Just for anyone who's not done that already. Philomena, could I get you to talk a little bit about, I know that you said that you've had to completely change what sectors you were dealing with. If we could go back to obviously when things first hit, how things changed for you, and how you dealt with those changes.
Yeah, certainly. Well, the first lockdown was horrendous. We lost about 80% of our business overnight, because the manufacturing had to close, the temporary staff, the commercial sector mainly, we found was hit hardest. So a lot of people were going to start working from home. And as temporary workers, in the call centres or admin side, companies didn't feel that they were going to set temporary workers up at home. So literally overnight, we just dropped. Very worrying. We sort of sat at home, and I thought, am I going to have a business? And, like Aruna, you've worked so hard for something, you can't see that fail. It's another baby of yours, really. The not meeting candidates was really tough. We had, all the phone calls, have you got work? And that first lockdown, nobody could advise, nobody could help. So it was really, really, really tough actually. But we found this second lockdown, manufacturing's been able to continue, people are more stable. No, we've kind of had a trial run actually from a severe lockdown. So we found that we're actually busier than pre-lockdown. We're actually on record figures now, and the temp market is just moving, but we've had to shift fully into industrial, really. I would say it's about 85% industrial work to, 15% of commercial. How we register candidates, we used to like to meet all our candidates face to face, gain an understanding of them, what they're looking for. And again, it's become all online. So we do have that personal touch, you do speak to people on a video link like we are now, but you still don't really gain that personal touch to somebody really, and their mannerisms, how they present themselves, so the ID side of things. So it has been an eye-opener, but yeah, we're in a good place now. But at the beginning of that first lockdown, no, there was a stage where I didn't think we were going to continue trading. So tough, yeah.
And was there support around you in terms of access to funding, grants, advice or support in your area?
In short answer, no. We are in serviced offices, so we wasn't entitled to any form of grants at all. I'm not classed as self-employed. I'm PAYE through the company, so I wasn't entitled to any of the self-employed help. They released a discretionary grant for people in serviced offices, and we finally got a payment which was minute compared to the £10,000 we were allowed. We only received £2,000 in June, so we had no support at all.
Wow, it's really, really great to hear how you have come through that, given what's gone on. Shalom, could I come over to you and see really what the impact has been in terms of, have you needed to change in terms of the way that you've dealt with your customers or your suppliers, and what that's meant for you and your business?
Yeah, thanks. It's really interesting to hear how COVID has impacted everyone, and we're no different. And I'll speak to Naturally Tribal Skincare. 2020 is a year that I'd love to see the back of, really, from a personal, from an emotional, from a financial, from a business point of view, right? Earlier this year in February, I buried my father this year, and then my sister-in-law in March, and then COVID hit and it was locked down. And, sort of being in a crazy emotional state, being a mom of 5, having 6-year-old twins and having 2 businesses, you think, oh my goodness, what do I do? Where do I look to? And it's that sort of mindset and strength within. You either sort of sink or swim, right? And I think we're all, from what I hear, all in survival mode. And I had to change my mindset. I had to look at my business and say, okay, go back to basics. We're on lockdown, you can't go anywhere. And that's what we did. I realized that, I started my company because my son had eczema. I'm a pharmacist by qualification, wanted to use natural ingredients for this child, right? He was scratched till he bled. So I had to make sure I used ingredients that had antiseptic and antiviral properties. So when excessive hand washing came, I thought, oh gosh, this is great for that as well. So we kind of shifted our focus, started to donate to NHS staff, and started to think about, it took us back to why the company started in the first place. And the other thing I did was COVID made me shameless, I have to say. I had no shame. I tapped into my social network. If I know you, I'm coming to ask, what's the worst you can do, right? You'll say no. So, and so many women in my network and men who have been amazing, whether it's support, it's advice, we cry together, laugh together, and then grants, like Ruth, you were asking before. Again, I went for everything. We're a small business, in survival mode. So we really had to change our mindset and think, well, it's either sink or swim. And hopefully we're still swimming. The first lockdown was really, really tough. And we had to think very, very quickly. Amazon became our best friend because everybody was online. Everybody was buying online. So we kind of had to, we're there anywhere, but it wasn't really a huge focus. And, like Philomena said, the second lockdown, I think, wasn't that bad, because then you find that the manufacturers are still open, the supply chain bringing ingredients from Africa, etc. So yeah, and I think the first is acknowledging that, oh my goodness, we've all been in this together. It's been quite tough, regardless of which sector, which industry you're in, and acknowledging those who have lost their businesses, because this has hit so many people on so many levels really, really badly. But it's conversations like this, NatWest, SEMLEP, actually having conversations. The support is there. We just have to shamelessly tap into it, and shamelessly tap into each other and say, you know what, we're in survival mode. What can we do to innovate? It's all about innovation standing out right now.
That's brilliant, Shalom. In fact, I was just about to go on to that. You mentioned about diversifying and innovating. Did you find that your business model was already set up to be able to innovate quite successfully, or to diversify, to change corners, like using Amazon much more, and the digital side of things? Or did you have to reassess your business model to be able to come out of this and then start and diversify?
Yes, I mean, Ruth, it was interesting because, we're all hearing these buzzwords we're hearing now. We're hearing sustainability, we're hearing love for our planet, we're hearing all these things. And what this made me realize was, oh my goodness, when somebody asked me, what would you change about your business due to COVID-19? I said absolutely nothing, because I've built businesses that speak to my why, businesses that are built on innovation that have an impact. Are you looking for sustainability? Yes. Are you looking for ethical sourcing? We certainly tick that box. Are you looking for diversity, trying to be, being a brand that is in itself diverse, regardless of skin type, skin tone, whatever? It's all about skin condition. We tick that box. So that really helped us to come, say, oh my goodness, all these new things that are coming are things that we've been singing out loud. So all we had to do was really hone in on our core messaging. It was all about impact in our environment, impact in our world, impact in our skin, vegan crew, all the stuff that people are talking about now. So we found that, oh, you have all these ingredients, you just have to bring it to the fore, right? Which we have done and continue to do.
That's brilliant, Shalom. Just a question to all of you. What's really quite key listening to all your amazing stories is that you've all had to adopt the digital way of working. A lot of businesses were face-to-face, they were, retail, no matter what they were, it tended to be face-to-face way of working, and everybody switched to digital. Can I ask you all, I'll start with Aruna, how you made that switch, either mentally or physically, to go onto a digital platform, because I know you mentioned it earlier. And if you had any advice to anybody listening, what would you recommend about how to go from the face-to-face to the digital, even though some businesses might think that it's not possible for them to do so? I feel that it is possible for lots of businesses to go online. And I don't know whether you can tell me, all of you, whether the cost is prohibitive, or your thoughts would be great. I'll start with you, Aruna.
So I think for us, as I said, I was really nervous, because when you are meeting face to face with networking, you've got the banter, you've got the chat, you've got the connections. At the beginning of the meeting, we sit down, we network over lunchtimes, etc. When we were on Zoom, the first bit is you have to mute yourself. So again, how do you get around that? How do you actually have the chat, so at first it was really difficult. So Zoom has a brilliant function where you've got the breakout rooms, and I think we've adapted that really, really well. So normally in a busy women meeting, I would match you off for a 10-minute one-to-one with one of the ladies in the room, just to see if there's any synergy there, and just to encourage one-to-ones outside of the meeting. So with Zoom, we were able to do that. And we could put everyone into a different breakout room. We also did bigger breakout rooms, so you wouldn't have to be on mute. You could have that chat, you could have the supportive camaraderie, really. So that really worked for us. I think as well, what we wanted to do was support our ladies. So yes, moving online was great, but social media was a massive thing for us. So when you're on lockdown, you are scrolling on your phone, you're going through LinkedIn, you're using Instagram, you're using Facebook. And for us, it was very much teaching them how to put all of their information, all of their offers, all of their, you know, their talk online. And we set up WhatsApp groups for all our different meetings. Whoever wanted to be on that WhatsApp group, if they did a business post, they would put the link into that WhatsApp chat, and then we would then comment on it, which really then helped their algorithms. And that's really, really helped with all of our ladies' businesses. It's just getting seen and being remembered, really.
Brilliant. Thank you, Irina. What about you, Philomena?
We found it was more, I would say, WhatsApp for us, because a lot of the people that we deal with, we call them our everyday soldiers, our, you know, our warehouse guys, our cleaners, our loaders and unloaders, you know, the people that keep these businesses moving, you know, aren't necessarily into Zooms. They're not into the meetings, you know, they are real ground workers, they're real soldiers. So, you know, the thought of trying to do Zoom meet, you know, a Zoom registration would scare the life out of them. That's technology, do you know? I'm not into technology, some of them. So WhatsApp video call, it's free, do you know, but it's there on their phone. So we found the WhatsApp side of things and just trying to speak to people over the phone and get people's ID in, you know, right to work and stuff. It was mainly all done via the WhatsApp side. It's been a little bit of a lifesaver, really, because I don't know how we would have got those right to work in and just really engage with people from all levels. We found Zoom would have been more our business owners, our clients as such would have been the Zoom. And, you know, our workforce really was, you know, the video WhatsApp calls and stuff. So, yeah, online has been, it's helped, but I do miss the in-person, really do.
Well, thank you, Philomena. Now, McKenna, yours is slightly different.
Yeah.
Yours will always be face-to-face, but have you thought about the way maybe of online booking? Has that changed? Have you looked at that kind of way of digital?
So over lockdown, I did still try to massively keep engaging with my clients just so they didn't forget about me. I did do some on Instagram, like hair tutorials. So I was just like engaging, asking what people wanted to see while they were still at home. A lot of it was like how to do their kids' hair. So I kind of did go online a little bit, but not to obviously what you guys were doing. So I was just trying to still kind of keep engaging on Instagram, still doing hair tutorials, or just, there was a lot of people that were home colouring their hair as well. So I was just like, right, teaching them the easy way to do it and stuff like that. I have thought about online booking system. I'll admit I am a little bit of a control freak, and the thing is the timings are so different to if somebody has colour and foils or just the routes. I wouldn't trust them to book in for the right thing, but it would make my life so much easier if I did have an online booking system. But I think in the future I will go on to that. I just need to cut the reins a little bit. But yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, McKenna. And Shalom, what about you? I mean, I know that, I mean, a lot of your business is online anyway. But did you adapt to any more digital way of working?
Absolutely. I mean, we were really focused on getting into high-end stores and retailers, you know, and the retail sectors we all know has been really hit really badly. So that was our focus. And of course, our e-commerce platform was our face to the world, but we really were focusing on getting into various stores, etc. We had to change tack and really intensify our online presence digitally. And of course, like Aruna had said, you know, going on social media, pushing messaging out there. But I think what we found, or what I found certainly as a female entrepreneur, and, you know, being on, even on Natwest Accelerator, is as women, we are so resilient. And what is taught us is how to adjust, right? You know, you're running your business, you're running your household, you're doing the washing up, you've got, you know, you've got so many things that you want to do. And the kids in lockdown, I mean, who like me has a newfound respect for teachers? I will never have got another teacher ever in my life again. But we had to adapt to all these things. Be business women, be entrepreneurs, be mothers, be wives, you know, so adjusting to the digital world I think came naturally to us. I think it did. And even with the difficulties, I think we're all able to adapt in one way, shape, or, one way, shape, or form. So I think it's really shout out to all women out there, to all of us, and a pat on our back. We don't do it enough to say, actually, we've done good despite all the hassle.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Shalom, I think we all hear you when you talk about our newfound respect for teachers. I see lots of nodding heads there. And it really leads on to my next question, actually. So the family and caring responsibility issues were raised during the Rose Review and has been highlighted as one of the areas that female entrepreneurs were disproportionately affected during the pandemic. So I was just about to ask you, actually, individually, what impact has family caring or juggling any kind of care responsibility had on you and your business? So if we could go around to yourself, Aruna, and for yourself, but also what you're hearing from your network of ladies.
I was really lucky, actually, because Mia's school just put everything online, and she had her iPad and she would work literally next door to me, and I would hear her with her classes. She was absolutely fine. My son, however, was meant to do his A-levels, didn't do his A-levels, and it was stressful because were we going to get into the university of our choice? It was going to be a really hard thing. Touch wood, and everything has gone well, and he did pass and he got into the university of his choice. But seeing him not having anything to do, from revising like crazy and having his mocks before lockdown to actually, well, what's the point of me even getting up in the morning? So his drive was just not there. For an 18-year-old or 17-year-old, there was no drive. So that was really hard to deal with, because what do you do? Get them to get up? To do what? Everybody was in the same boat. So it was brilliant for me. It wasn't great for Jay, but luckily we got a great story out of it. With other ladies, I mean, I had all sorts coming onto our Zoom calls. We had dogs, we had babies. I had one lady doing her 10-minute spotlight whilst feeding her baby. It was really interesting. We had lots and lots of different people joining on to our Zoom calls, from animals to babies. We even had a chicken join one day. So, yeah, very interesting times.
Thank you, Philomena. How did you cope with the juggling of general life and lockdown?
I'd like to say wine, but it's probably not the place to say it. It was just about taking every day. I started off with a lockdown and I thought, right, let's plan a week. Let's do a school program. Let's do a timetable. And it became so stressful. So I just really thought, right, back to basics. We just get up every day and we play today and we focus on today, and just trying to remain positive, because wow, what those children went through. We say about us as businesses, but these children, they're used to going to school. My daughter goes gymnastics, she goes swimming every week. She's such a social child, and all of a sudden her life stops. She has no social media at 5 to keep up with the world, and you're isolated. And to try and keep their positivity, their inner child going. And really what I found was, let my inner child out. At lunch times, in between working, I'd let her paint my face. We would be in the swimming pool, because you can't lose that fun. So as much as I tried to do the education, I didn't want her to lose her childhood, to be honest. And I'm never going to moan, like Shalom said, about teachers ever again. It was just really tough. My 18-year-old, a bit like you, Aruna, what's the point in getting up? It was Xbox really, and just trying to engage, trying to get him involved. I found he very isolated himself. But yeah, trying to work and children, it is, just trying to remain positive every day, really. So yeah, let the inner child out.
Yeah, I certainly think this second lockdown has made us appreciate that, having them at school. McKenna, how have you juggled home life and other responsibilities, as well as concentrating on your business?
I don't have any children, so but my heart goes out to you guys, because I was speaking to a lot of my clients who are mums, and I think they were hitting the bottle, like they were having a glass of wine, because I just think they were just under so much pressure, like you guys, to run the household, still have their job, clean, be a teacher. So my heart really does go out, because I always used to say to my mum, like, a happy mum is a happy household. So I feel like for mums, isn't it, you run the home, you do everything. So a lot of my clients were under a lot of stress, and I just felt like everything was heightened for them. So like the fact that they had roots, they were coming to me, they were like, what should I do? Because I just think they were just under so much pressure, everything was heightened, it was just very emotional for you guys. So I was just kind of just being just talking. I miss talking to my clients, so I was just messaging them and just trying to just keep up their spirits. So yeah, but my heart does go out to you guys. But yeah, I was just trying to just be an ear that they could just come to and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't have that pressure of the kids. So yeah.
But more than just a hairdresser, being an ear, a shoulder to lean on as
an
well.
agony ass as well.
Thank you. And Shalom, I know that you already touched on the juggling. I mean, any tips or advice in terms of how best to manage it? Because people are going back into that situation again, aren't they? Where the kids are coming home, like we've said before, someone in the class gets COVID, the kids are back and you're working and you're running your business. Any learnings from the first time around?
Yeah, I think it's a typical example. I've got my twins, 6-year-old twins at home. One just rocked in here now. So it's that mother thing, juggling everything. But I think one of the things we did was put it into perspective. And I'm very lucky. I have dual heritage, and my business model is such that my husband and I remortgaged our home and went to built a factory in Africa to employ up to 70 women, where our shea butter is sourced and brought into the UK to make our products. Now, when you put that into perspective, and we're talking to our SN women every day, and we compare what they have in terms of their life to what we have here, we kind of felt really lucky, really grateful, and trying to involve the kids and let them also see how grateful we are. Again, that mindset thing is, we have the NHS, we have, everything that we need on tap. There's some people in this pandemic who don't have that. So we try to do it from that perspective and include them in everything that we're doing, but it was tough.
Definitely. You're giving us a great example of that right now, Shalom. Amazing. So one thing is for sure is that we've seen a huge amount of resilience in our female-led businesses. Can I ask, coming out of lockdown too, are there any learnings that we'll take away and adapt into your business as we see things grow and you start to achieve your goals and ambitions now for next year? So what learnings will we take with us? And then also asking, has your experience during or before COVID and the pandemic provided you with any examples of how the wider business community could, what support could be needed to overcome any challenges and they face, and smooth out the path to success? So what support's needed, and what learnings are you taking forward in your business? So if I could come over to you first of all, Aruna.
So learnings, definitely. I think next year I'm definitely going to launch an online group when we can start going back to normal life and having proper face-to-face meetings. I think Zoom does work for businesses that aren't postcode specific. So, online yoga classes, solicitors, all of these people don't have to be in a certain area. So I think definitely Zoom has worked in that way, and I will definitely launch an online group. What was the second question? Sorry.
What support would be needed in terms of from organisations like ourselves and SEMLEP? What sort of support do you think should be out there for female entrepreneurs, and where should they turn?
I did hear a lot from my ladies that they just didn't know what to do. They had no guidance. They were new into business. Some even didn't really, it was our accountants really that were trying to help our ladies, our HR people, trying to sort of tell them about what grants were on offer, you know, what they could do with their staff, you know, they had no idea how the furlough worked. So I think in that way, having sort of, you know, advisors really, I mean, look, we would never thought this was ever going to happen in our lives, you know, but I think a lot of the self-employed felt very alone when it came to this, and what they could actually do and what help was out there for them. And I'm not sure many of them got any advice on that, to be honest.
Okay, thank you, Aruna. Philomena, could I come to you in terms of what learnings you're going to be taking forward, whether there'll be any changes that you keep within your business, and what support you think would be needed going forward?
I think for us, we would continue to do the online side, but for us, I can't wait to get back to normal and have people in the office again, and, you know, the buzz of registration. And even though, like I said, with the things have helped with the Zooms, and I would like to go back, and I won't be continuing to do the online because I want the personal touch back. We've noticed that a lot more companies have been all about local. We're quite focused on local anyway. We're very community driven, but a lot of companies have said, you know, rather than using the national recruiters that they used pre-lockdown, they're now coming to us smaller independent companies. So I'm hoping that continues. You know, myself, even though I do push local, some of our promotional goods, I used to go to, you know, large national companies to get that big bulk and promotional items in, but I've started to focus on local a little bit more. So I think just trying to maintain the community, because we don't know if it's going to happen again or what's going to happen next year. So all about just kind of try and support our local community, really. So that's what we're going to focus on a little bit more.
That's great, Philomena, thank you. And I think that is really key, supporting each other.
Yes.
Sorry, Rafe, were you about to talk?
No, I was going to let McKenna and Shalom finish, and
Yeah.
then I'll say something.
Okay. McKenna, if I could come over to you in terms of what you're going to be taking forward within your business, and what extra support you feel would be beneficial going forward.
I think nothing is a sure deal, is it? So I just think I am planning stuff for the future. If touch wood anything does happen, just trying to brainstorm ideas and stuff like that. But I definitely want to say what Philomena said about shopping locally, just trying to get like vouchers, just trying to promote that. I think I have been loving in lockdown where everyone has been supporting other businesses. I know I've been on Instagram, so I'm loving that. So I just want to touch more on just kind of shopping locally. And then I think with the support, I'll be honest, being new into this, I think sometimes like the corporate jargon I get a little bit lost in, or I think that can be quite intimidating, because I just sometimes I don't understand. So I think for new people, I think like maybe like simpler kind of advice, because I know, luckily I'm just so grateful that I had my mum, so she kind of dissected it all, but it can be quite overwhelming and stuff like that. So I think the support would be good, not even like the financially, but like the support on how to do things, or being advised. I was advised by other business owners that I knew that could help me. So I was really lucky in that sense that I had my mum and I could bounce ideas off of other business owners that I knew.
Okay, thanks McKenna. And then if I could come over to you, Shalom, in terms of what changes you'll bring forward and any support required.
Yeah, I think, understand that we all want to go back to normality, whatever normality is. And the truth, at least from my perspective, is that things can never go back to what they were and how they were. I think it's a combination of both, and being able to adapt going forward, knowing that we don't necessarily have to have face-to-face. It'd be great to be face-to-face, but we don't necessarily need that to actually grow our businesses. It's helping to reduce our carbon footprint and better for our environment, etc. For me, there's two things. There's us. And when I say us, it's the network of women, business women, whether you're in corporate or SMEs, is really passing the baton, looking back to see who there needs help that I can pull up. I think that is really, really critical. I love what people are saying about support for small businesses in our regions, support for community, having that sense of community. I think we shouldn't let those things go away. Role models are so important, trying to be role models for people. And I think then from the business community, the NatWest and the SEMLEPs of this world, for me, it's communication. Information is power and education is power. So how do we make sure that we make every service, every offering, every grant, every help that is available, how do we make people aware of that? McKenna has talked about being sometimes intimidated. I feel that. Sometimes you get lost in translation and the big language just goes straight over your head. And I start thinking, oh my God, imposter syndrome alert, hello, don't understand. You know, it's just making all those things possible for everyone and finding those channels. Aruna's got a great network from what I hear. So it's tapping into people like that and say, you've got a group of women, here's what we have, and here's how we can disseminate this information in a very simple and succinct way. And so that's it for me, really.
That's absolutely brilliant. That actually, what you said was what I was going to say. What's quite interesting is that SEMLEP, you know, the Growth Hub, we're hosting this with Natwest, is a business support. And the one thing that I mean, we're a business in our own right, if you think about it, although we are government funded and we're fully complementary service, is awareness. The support is out there. And one of the key things that we all find really hard is making sure people are aware that we are here to help you. So anything like this pass out. I mean, I would say to even all the panelists is call us. The more people that are aware of the support, we can help you, like McKenna, we can help navigate through that absolute forest of jargon that is out there. And, you know, I've been in business many, many years, and it is still a forest of jargon. You know, acronym central is, if we could get rid of acronyms, I would be a very happy woman. But yeah, awareness and knowing and support, I think that's brilliant. And what's quite clear from this is talking on a peer-to-peer basis, is understanding businesses that are like-minded, but maybe in a different sector. And what is quite interesting is we're just about to launch a peer-to-peer network program through the Growth Hub for businesses that can help you engage more with other businesses, not just female businesses, but other businesses as well within the region to help you grow. So there is the support, there is the programs out there. And if there's one thing I would say as a result of this is talk to SEMLEP, talk with the contact details Sam will put up at the end. But awareness for any business is absolutely key. And we are here. Does anybody else do any of the attendees have any questions that they'd like to ask the panelists?
We've got one in the chat, Ruth, just now from Vanessa. Might be something we want to take away, or if you want to answer it live, it's entirely up to you.
Just for a little read here. Okay, so it's about so it says, Ruth and Nicola, is there any support grants available for small starting businesses? Started a play centre last year and worked for a session. I mean, happy to have a chat offline. I'm sure Ruth would say the same in terms of there may be grants available and there may be funding available, but probably worth having a chat about individual circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, there is as far as grants are concerned, they're very thin on the ground for startups at the moment. It is something that we are lobbying government for, to actually get some funding out there for startups. There's a lot of non-financial help for startups. So there is the South East Midlands startup program that can help you with your understanding your finance and your business plans and your cash flow. We at the Growth Hub can help you with business plans and understanding all that non-financial stuff you will need to help your business start and grow. And then there is funding called the Startup Loans Company. However, that is debt funding. That is borrowing money and having to repay it. But that is also an option that is out there to be able to help startup businesses grow. So yeah, very happy, like Nicola said, to have a chat offline about that. There is support out there, but maybe not just grant money available.
Yeah, I echo the same as what Ruth's saying, really, in terms of speak to Semlet, contact myself, contact Ruth and her team. There is non-financial in terms with NatWest as well. So NatWest Business Builder, if anyone goes onto the website, is a suite of workshops and events and free support that's available for anyone, whether they bank with us or not. And that's right from startup through to growth businesses as part of our accelerator scheme. So anyone who needs some advice or just a little bit of a point in direction, by all means, contact us, even if you don't, like McKenna said, if it's not simple or not as straightforward as you think it seems, then still contact us. Don't be afraid to ask. But NatWest Business Builder is worth a try as well. Are there any more on there? Should we have a look?
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's a number of people wanting to talk about starting a business, and as we said, you know, talk to NatWest. They have business enablers that you don't have to be a NatWest customer to do it, and you can also talk to my advisors as well. We're here to help with startup businesses as well, so there is the support out there.
Yeah, Ruth, if I can just add, Nicola, you know, for me, it's really the mindset is a very key thing. Start by doing what's necessary and do what's possible. And before you know it, you've conquered the impossible. I'm on the NatWest Accelerator. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, talk to like-minded people who are, ask the question. You know, and if you started a business, for me, collaboration is key. You might think, oh my goodness, we'll have nothing in common. There's always a common thread somewhere. It's about collaborating. And, you know, honestly, when I talk about being shameless, ask. The worst thing that can happen is for people to say, absolutely not. I see a question there. Somebody, Ruth, I think, is saying, as a Black woman, I'm aware of difficulties in getting funding. Absolutely, there are difficulties in getting funding with everything that's happening at the moment. And there's a report by British Business Bank about it being much more difficult for BAME women. Honestly, we need to just keep pushing through to the point where you don't see obstacles and barriers anymore. There's so much help out there. It's just being aware of what they are. I'm by no means saying it's easy, but on it, the way I see it, if I've done it, anybody can.
No, well, yeah, thank you, Shalom. I'm very glad you raised that one. I was about to raise that question next. There are inroads being made into assisting the BAME community in being able to help gain funding and support, because it has truly been highlighted as an area where businesses, any you know, Black females and Black males and people from that community to be able to set up. But there are being inroads. As you said, the British Business Bank has done a report. We've got an equality, diversity and inclusivity program on the go at the moment. So in order to be able to, as you said, ensure that the unconscious barriers are scaled, work is going on. But as Shalom rightly said, if we all think of equality, then just go ahead and do what you do. And that is the way to break down the barriers.
Yeah,
absolutely. 250 billion, as I said, could be added to this our economy if women businesses were supported more. That's huge. So we know we've got something, and it's down to us to not only help each other out. You know, I've had people come to me and say, can you help me with my formulation? I'm a potential competitor. My industry is worth 180 billion. Of course I can help you. There's enough for all of us in the sandpit. That's the mindset that we need.
That is absolutely the mindset that we need, Shalom. And again, I've seen that question pop up from Ruth, and yeah, diversity is absolutely key, and it's essential for business going forward. And just don't be afraid to come and ask. And if you feel like that's holding you back, don't let it. Come and talk, because unconscious bias is something that's been highlighted at all levels, whether it be financial or through all sectors. It is being looked at and it is being addressed, and these things are being squashed where they need to be. So don't be afraid to ask the questions.
And I think, Nicola, support is not just financial, because we talk a lot about financial barriers. I was told that if I didn't have $500,000 in the bank, not to bother starting my business. Nonsense. You know, I just, you know, went and sought help and advice. You can start small, and if you've got a good idea, if it's innovative, you can scale up. And if you build it, they will come looking for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and normally you've had to work harder, haven't you? If you've not just got the funding day one, you've had to pedal away, and you've had to learn a lot more along the way. So I think, yeah, there's a lot to be said for starting small and building your way up.
And having the tenacity and resilience to grow. And I think that tenacity and determination is an absolute thing. Shalom, you mentioned earlier about us women were totally resilient and being able to, you know, juggle many things at one time. And I think that resilience and tenacity, determination, it actually helps any business owner to grow. Just seen a question from Amanda Lowther. Can I take that offline and have a question to you about what type of grants you're thinking about? If you could, Sam Lee, get me Amanda's details, I will contact you, Amanda. Great.
Seemed to be a lot about startup advice. I'm just wondering whether that's anything that McKenna could draw any light on with your current experience.
I think my biggest thing is just do it. Don't be intimidated or scared. I just think if you truly believe in your business and it's going to be successful, then I just think, yeah, just literally go for it. I was reading it saying that 39% of women aren't confident in starting up their own businesses, which makes me sad, because I think this business or this idea has literally changed my life. Like, I'm just so happy. I feel like I'm on cloud 9 every day. I wake up, can't wait to get back into the salon, and it just makes me a little bit sad that somebody could be sitting on a business idea that could completely change their life, but they don't feel confident or they don't feel like the support is there. Whereas I really believed in myself, and I think when you believe in yourself, then you can take it so far. So my advice is just do it. As simple as that. Yeah,
that's brilliant. In fact, actually, that was how we were going to close. That's your final advice? That's wonderful. Aruna, what would you give as one little final piece of advice to everybody listening?
What, just for starting up a business?
Well, for a business or carrying on a business, growing a business.
I think you need to get on social media. I think it's so powerful at the moment. I think everyone's on it, and it's whoever shouts the loudest. So it's as many people seeing you and seeing your passion for your business is just going to be so important. I'm totally with Shalom. We're all about collaboration, collaborate, meet new people. You never know who they know and who you could introduce them to. It's just, collaboration is massively powerful for me.
Brilliant. Philomena, what would you say is the final?
I just mirror what everybody's saying. You know, it's really all about just believing in yourself. If you believe in that product, go for it. You know, and just talk to people. Like Shannon said, people just talk to people, ask the questions. You know, there's no right or wrong answer. Don't be afraid. You know, we didn't wake up business owners. We worked our career. We set up a business. We never worked behind the scenes before. You know, we don't know you didn't know any questions. You know, just ask. That you'll be so surprised at the support that's out there. You know, we started off on my kitchen table to now turning, you know, multi-million-pound business, and it was just by networking and just being positive and believing. You know, just do it.
And I know you're going to echo that, Shalom, but do you want to final word?
I am. I just think, you know what, take every opportunity. Even in the face of adversity, there's opportunities in everything. Like today from this call, I've met amazing women, and I'm thinking, am I thinking about recruitment? Oh, I know Philomena now, and I'm thinking, McKenna, you better be doing Afro-Caribbean hair at some point. And Aruna, what network have you got that I can tap in? Do you know what I mean? It's about utilizing every opportunity that comes your way.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much.
Do you want to close then, Nicola?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for attending. A special thank you to all of our panelists, Ruth and Semlep, for coming together to put this on today. I think it's just really shown what resilience as a team of women we can have, and how proud that we should all be, and really to tap into your network. So just thank you so much for joining today.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
The recording will be available online, and if you do want to get in touch with the Growth Hub, please do email or call us there, or call me direct, email me direct, which is ruthcousins@semlep.com, and then I'll be able to answer any of your questions that we haven't been able to answer today.